Hello and welcome to the trading session for today. Basically going to be looking at the DAX and the FTSE as usual if you follow my channel, and I've laid out the camera low levels, the pivot points that I use, basically looking for rejections and support and resistance off those levels, along with any sort of price points that look interesting, and in particular the Bollinger Bands for any spikes outside of those levels, either the high or the low, particularly around the open, which is in about 6 minutes. So I'm just going to give some commentary about what I'm looking for, the types of things that I would hope for when the market opens, and then when the market does open, I'm also going to just have a look and describe what I'm seeing to try and help other traders to trade a little better and get a bit of an idea of the market if you're new to either index trading or trading in general. So first of all, just going to have a look at the DAX. Now the DAX is sitting pretty much right on the close, so it's quite an efficient market. That doesn't really leave us with too much opportunity in terms of going for a target such as the close gap. There may be an opportunity if we do perhaps get a spike down to the low, or even these levels, the breakout shorter S1. I don't know if you can see my mouse there or not. Just bear with me one moment, I'm going to go and check something. So we've got 4 minutes till the market opens. I'm just going to quickly go over the FTSE as well. So what we'd be hoping for is either just a blind buy, aiming for perhaps the breakout long or the high on the DAX, or if we did get a nice spike down, we always like the spikes at the open. It creates an inefficiency in the market, so it's not really an efficient market. There's a bit too much perhaps order flow or a bit too much weight going in one direction that isn't sustainable, and then the market's going to probably take that back the other way. So the institutions absorb all of that false either buying or selling, and then look to make money in the other direction because of those inefficient orders. So building a bit of strength, I feel, on the DAX. But we just want to see the open, see what actually happens in the market. Now we've got 3 minutes to open. And on the FTSE, so this chart over here to the right, it's below this confluence here and below the low. So there's an extreme gap there, but it's very close to that extreme gap. We do have a bit of an inefficiency due to the close being out of position to the current price. And we're expecting that market to perhaps head in that direction towards that grey line at 7513. We can see the DAX is slowly moving upwards. We've got 2 minutes to the open, and we're just looking and waiting for that market to open. Got 2 minutes. just hanging out, so bear with me for a moment. Got 1 minute till the open. So we're basically looking for longs. We're avoiding perhaps any short positions, I believe, based on the layout. But it could drop, so we want to watch the open in particular to see what happens. So we want to see a nice spike down, and that would be really, really positive. So we're open. The market's going to push up quite nicely by the looks. So a blind buy in this situation could have been an option. We may still get a push down, but the DAX is really firing. It's a bit of a spike. Long there perhaps could have got short. For those who are bearish on the DAX, you could have got short off that pivot potentially. But I'm not confident that the market will go down much beyond those cam levels below that we're looking for a bounce off. So we'll see what happens. Always the market can do the opposite of what we're expecting. But here on the FTSE, we had a little push down, and that may be enough for us to probably see a bit of rejection here off this level, but then hopefully push on through. So we've hit that extreme gap as a potential target. We want to just get through this confluence here as well, which might be a bit tricky, but we were just aiming for this close at 7513. Now, just remembering this is not trading advice. So obviously do your own research, and it's more just to show you guys what trading's all about and what actually goes on. Seeing a bit of rejection on the FTSE. It might be a little bit tricky to get through these levels, but if we push up above the yellow and orange line that we're sitting at right now, at the 7478 level, a little bit higher, if we can get through that, it could be a really positive sign that we're going to head up towards at least the pivot and then the close gap. Sometimes when we're aiming for a gap, it's a bit tricky to try and get all the way. There's sometimes the market turns around a little bit before it'll just watching the market here. Between sort of 2 and 3 points, or even sometimes 4 points, it'll turn around before it hits, just so that it's not too easy for traders. It does try and do tricky things like that, but it's still claiming that it's going to be a filled gap according to the systems and the rules. And the rules. Not very much activity on the DAX. One thing to note as well is that trading throughout December can be a little bit slow. So particularly, I guess, if traders have had a really good year, they're not going to be that enticed to keep trading throughout December. Christmas does seem to slow the effects of trading down quite a bit, and the markets get a bit just not as exciting. People taking off Christmas, the US and that part of the world are having summer break. Not summer break, they're having winter break, they're having Christmas and seeing their family and that kind of thing. So the markets do slow down a little bit throughout December. Market's pulling back on the FTSE. So we didn't get through these levels. We got to the extreme gap, came up and touched that confluence there, and we were expecting a potential bit of a retracement before we perhaps break through and target that close gap. If we did get below this S2 though, I wouldn't be very confident at all about the trade. So there's not really much movement on the FTSE today, and there's not all that much potential and likelihood. But as far as a trade goes, obviously the DAX it was looking a bit bullish, but it's not the cleanest of trading setups. Do let me know if you enjoy these sessions and if you find them helpful. Also, if there's anything that you would like to have put into these videos or other video ideas for me, because I'm always looking to help you guys learn, adapt, and be better traders and navigate the markets a little easier. It's very slow trading, not very exciting at all. So I'm probably just going to turn it off now. Not really any trade for me. I did expect both markets to go up, but I was hoping for a bit more of a pullback, particularly on the FTSE before we went long. We are effectively below the breakout short on the FTSE or the UK 100, which means the market could just drift down. But I do generally just like to target the inside movements. So for example, folding back in on itself towards that close gap as my preferred option. The market doesn't tend to run away whenever I trade it for some reason. So I do like those inside trades. So we've had a bit of a reaction off these levels here. We're just hoping it'll push up through and above the confluence, which can be a bit tricky. It may not get through it. So it's just good to be aware of the pros and cons of each trade. I didn't quite have time to go over the 4-hour and the larger time frame layouts. There's nothing particularly alarming. So actually on the 1 hour we did come outside the lower Bollinger Band. It's a good opportunity to potentially get long based on that. And I'll reset that back to a 5-minute, and I'll just have a quick check of the DAX just so we have a bit of consistency across both markets. It's is really bullish. So the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the last 5 weeks have all been quite decent green bars. There's a couple here that are a bit slow, so we may have a bit of a slow green bar there. On the daily, nothing really standing out to me. And what I'm looking for is basically the price being outside or close to the Bollinger Bands, either the upper or lower. The mid doesn't really matter, it's right in the middle, so it doesn't faze me too much. Yeah, very slow movement. So that's it for me today, guys. I hope you found this useful, and please do go check out the other videos and like, subscribe, comment, interact, and I can't wait to trade with you guys again soon.